Hi everyone, good evening. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Victoria Nkong. I'm the CEO of Qtaby Events and Entertainment. I am a talent manager, an event producer, a TV producer. I'm a PR consultant. I see someone already saying, why does she do so many things? Wait a minute, I'm not done. I am also an author. I have written two books. One, my autobiography. The second one was co-written with about 20 women from um, different countries. It was an anthology called I Bet My Chest. While the memoir, more or less, my memoir is called Diary of a Mad Black Woman. And besides all of these things that I do with QTV Events and Entertainment, um, I don't think I've mentioned everything, but that's okay. I don't want to stress anybody's head. So besides all these things that I do with QTV Events and Entertainment, I also run a home. I'm a mommy, yes, funky mommy. I'm a mommy to about 20 sweet, sweet, sweet children, and it's like a very active part of my life. It's not something I do by the side. Um, I took the time to introduce myself because I see someone out here who's thinking they're doing too much already. There's so much that you can do, so much. I still feel like I'm lazy some of the time with all the things that I have to handle in my hands. We're going to be talking about being in the entertainment industry generally, but I felt it would be really good to get to know me, to get to understand how I ventured into entertainment, why I felt like this online masterclass was necessary, and why I feel like I'm an authority enough in the industry to be able to deliver this masterclass. Of course, with the other facilitators whom I respect very well. We have Mr. Olisa Adibwa who will be joining us. Olisa is not someone that needs to be introduced in the industry, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa and almost world over right now. He has paid his dues, started out from the United Kingdom. He's literally paid his dues in the broadcast industry, in the music industry, even in events consulting and production, because he sits on the board of the Afrima Awards. I'm part of the creative production team as well. So we have Olisa Adiba who will be facilitating alongside myself. We also have Omotunde Adebowale, popularly called Lolo One, or all of you who are Jennifer's Diary fans, you call her Adako. And then, Adako needs no introduction, whether in the movie industry or also in the media. She's done over a decade. And even though I have to say that for her, she's quite successful. She has now moved from Wazobia FM and currently is the general manager of Las Gidi FM. Talk about starting out as a reporter or even starting out as a lawyer, venturing into this industry and coming to, rock it this well. And then we have Alen Amusukwevi, a partner with whom I have worked for about a decade as well. Alen is a Beninese citizen from the Republic of Benin. Alen is a communications expert, branding expert. He has he has been running his agency as the brand agency for MTN, Benin, Togo, a few other countries. Move, which is the IT salad, or Nine Mobile, whichever one you want to call it, for a few years now. He's also been actively involved in the rebranding of some of the countries around Africa who you would notice the countries have developed into brands. The current of which is the Senegalese government. He was a consultant for their rebranding. He's done for DR Congo. Alain and I, back in the day, co-produced some of the biggest concerts across the West Coast. One of which was the MTN Yellow Summer in Benin. We usually had about 50,000 people on the beachfront like this. We had a beautiful stage and we literally brought every artist that mattered from around Africa and even Europe to come give this shindig on behalf of MTN back in the day. Like everyone you would think of, from Davido to Whiskey to P Square to Mokobe to Magic System, like everybody. And we did this for like 5 years consecutively. Trust me, it was a huge, huge success with a lot of work in the background. Now, how did I get into entertainment? Long story. I started out wanting to be a lawyer. Well, not wanting to be per se, but everyone in my family told me I was going to be a lawyer while I was growing up. Why? Because I talk a lot. Or I did talk a lot back in the day. Right now, I don't even have energy to talk again. But back in the day, I think I was a small chatterbox. So everyone felt law would be good for me. And then I was very argumentative. So I grew up with the notion in my head that I was a lawyer. I was going to be a lawyer, and then life took its own course. I wrote the famous JAM. I was like 3 scores away from the cutoff for law, and my dad, who was then in the government, who I knew had assisted quite a number of people to get into the higher institution, refused to help me. He said I was too young to have my admission processed by anybody, and he says, Victoria, you're going to go back and read your books, and when you get the right score to enter law, even if it takes you 5 years of doing this, you're going to wait. You're very young. I actually left secondary school at about 14 years old, maybe, yeah, 14 years old. So he felt I was too young to be processing admission, the wrong way. So I went back to sit for JAM. But while sitting for JAM, my mother, God bless her where she is, women are a bit more understanding at times. My mother felt I was going to go into depression if they were to let me at home, seeing that I didn't fail. I mean, I did quite well. It was just that law back in the day, the cutoff was quite on the high. So she was like, okay, so that this child doesn't feel left out from the rest of her colleagues, I'm going to get her a supplementary form, and she's going to go in and start with modern languages. And then when she receives her JAM, she moves to law. Anything but sitting at home while my colleagues, my classmates back in secondary school are saying I'm now on campus. So I died for it. And when I went into languages, day in, day out, I look at myself and like, what am I doing here? I'm too smart for this. Like, when you were acing your grades in school, and I used to look down on those who used to do like French in SSS. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? I had one of my very close friends, Mary Esther, who I stopped even being friends with because I'm like, this one, her priorities are wrong. How can she be doing French in SS? What does she want to do with it? Here I was now going into modern languages and translation studies in the higher institution. And yeah, I found myself there. For the first couple of weeks, I was like, Victoria, you do not belong here. So I go in there, I dress on white and black like I was a law student, and I go sit down in the modern languages classes, and all I'm doing is just studying for my JAM and like anything to get me out of this department back to, my law department, because, the way we were brought up back then, there was this impression that there were some courses that were prestigious. So it's either you were doing law or you were doing medicine, or you were going to be an accountant, one of those things. So my parents weren't even proud of the fact that I was in languages, well, apart from my mom. One thing led to another. I made some really great friends in the Department of Modern Languages and Translation Studies. In summary, my first year, I ended up having the best results in that department. And my friends had been able to convince me there was no need to go to law and be reading books and books all the time. It was like fun for me now. And so I decided to stick there. I will summarize this and then I'll share my book, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, with some of you, and you can read the rest of the details in there. But that's how I did languages. And with languages, I could speak French and Spanish. French very fluently, Spanish not so fluently, but somehow that's how I found myself. Graduating from modern languages and getting the connect to work with the Cora All Africa Music Awards as a bilingual phone operator because I could speak several languages. So I usually say to people that I happened into the entertainment industry. Like, I didn't set out ever in my life thinking I would be in entertainment, but entertainment found me somehow. With Cora, I mean, it was glitz and glam, it was flying first class tickets around the world, it was working in and out of presidencies with a, high and who is who in the society. At that age, trust me, it was very attractive. I started working with Cora when I was, 18? I was less than 19 when I got my first job. About that age, 18, 19. And so imagine, it was like everything I dreamt of as a teenager. It was like the good life coming to me. But I was enjoying the day as it comes. I wasn't deliberate. I wasn't equipping myself for this work as a career. I was just earning money, spending money, and enjoying the good life. And that is why we're here today, and I'm about to ensure that none of you makes the kind of mistake that I made back when I started my career. I hope we enjoy ourselves on this ride. It's going to be bumpy. I'm going to be saying it as it is. And the other facilitators coming, they are not even half as nice as I am. So they are going to be crushing everything you thought you knew about building a career in the entertainment industry. Let's stay together. Love you all. Thanks for joining me. Cheers.